Whew. So I'm starting this later than usual. Let's see if people drop in. I say that, but then like I've been having late live streams anyway, as I sit here talking to myself. Drinking my yerba mate. So for anybody who might watch the replay later, I am happy to say the AC in my cab is working. So I can drive with the air on now, which is great. The little upgrades. Alrighty, I'm seeing 3 thumbs up and 20 people in the house. D Huffman, how you doing? Hello. You can hear me all right? After I've had sound and video, because I'm nervous whenever I go live. Well, from Stephanie's reply, I'm gonna say yes. Okay, I'm doing okay. Oh man, how's everybody doing? And how's the weather where you are? Had a couple of nice mild days, and after a couple of really really hot days where I was miserable, I was like so happy. I'm drinking yerba mate. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I like this one and the classic gold. And I try not to drink them that often, but when I see them, I'm like, I gotta buy me like 2. Oh, Mike says it's hot and humid here in Las Vegas. Yeah. Deserts, man. I don't know if D. Huffman says it's been raining for days. Just got back from Miami where the heat is scorching. I want some rain. Like, I would love a rainy day. I see Oxon Hill. What's up? Home state. Oxon Hill, Maryland. Paul Sherman says bad storms here today, North Virginia. Can I get some of your water falling from the sky? I wouldn't mind a nice rainy day. I don't want a storm, but I wouldn't mind a nice little like rainy day. Patty and Pumps, Ferndale, California. High is 64. 64 isn't bad. I'm just experiencing. Yeah, that's not bad at all. We got D Myers from Richmond, Virginia. What's up? I really have like nothing prepared. I'm just like, I'm gonna go live because I go live on Wednesdays. Everybody's saying hi to Mickey, but Mickey is, let me see if I can move this without jarring things. You can't see his book bag up there, but he's on the bed. Don't judge me. I know my sheets are kind of all over the place, but he's a chilling right now. He ate his dinner, and then he kind of like groomed himself and went up to his little cave. Oh no, Joe says heavy rain and mild flooding. Ooh, that sucks. So Mike asked me, are you still in Southern California, Dawn? Yes, I am. Actually. I will say this much. I'm actually no longer at the shop in Fontana. I probably will talk more about that in my video that I'm going to do on Sunday. But it depends on what happens on the video that I already uploaded for Friday. So here's the thing about sponsored videos. They are annoying. I know it looks like really easy, and you do a little plug for the company, but then you have to send the stupid video to them to get their approval before you make it public. So I have one of those videos sitting in limbo right now, waiting for approval, and they don't approve like the content that's mine. They approve um, the language you use to talk about their product or whatever. And I'd never say anything I didn't think was untrue. So I'm waiting on them, and hopefully that'll be uh, out first. So yeah, that was a meandering answer to everything. Patty and Pup said, "I wish you were here in Northern Cali coast near Eureka. The weather is cool. I love mild California weather. Like, it's the best. And it is not mild, right? I've been in very much not mild, but heat. California heat, terrible. California mild is perfect." So yes, obviously, because D Huffman says, any plans to travel? The plan is always to travel. Like that's all. That's the reason for everything. But I don't want to travel like stupidly. I mean, I'm always kind of taking a risk. I have all these little locks that I've retwisted, and every time I see them sticking up, I like want to fix them. Like what's the point if I'm not going to get to travel? But it's just like, to a certain extent, I'm jumping into it, you know, without all the monies in the world. But on the other hand, I don't want to be super stupid. So it's like I needed to make sure enough things were secure enough to shift and move and be able to move. But as far as like me having like super long-term plans, I kind of plan one step ahead, and that's about it. I'm like, okay, when this is done, I can maybe do this thing if the timing works out, and if not, I'll make a new plan. Like that is how I do it. Earl Blackman says, just make a video just on the products and edit it in. It's not a product, it's a service. So I couldn't make a video about it. And I don't like, here's the thing. If I'm going to talk about a product, I actually like talking about products that I've bought and I've used for a long time. I don't want to talk, if I'm going to review a product, I don't want to quote unquote get paid for it, but besides maybe getting the thing and getting to keep it. I've never had this experience, but I know there's situations where you only get it to review and then you have to send it back. That happens a lot with people who like review cell phones because they want the cell phone companies for like tech reviewers. That happens to them a lot. That's never happened to me. Everything I've been sent for, review, I've been told I can keep. But I like being able to give a real opinion. I don't ever want to be paid for my opinion on how something actually works. Now, if they want to give it to me and allow me to give an opinion, they don't get to see what my opinion is before you guys. So now I might talk about a product and I'll talk about the spec sheet, but if I'm actually reviewing it and recommending it one way or the other, I don't want a company looking at that. I want permission to say whatever I want to say. That's the actual truth. But a lot of sponsorships aren't products. I mean, sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't. It's like, it's a VPN or, some other kind of service. And so like, you're just giving a little plug about the service basically. And it just means ad revenue instead of going to YouTube and then you getting part of it. Like, that's the advantage to the situation, but it's a pain in the butt. And honestly, I hate doing it if I'm going to be honest about it. But at the same time, it's like they can either pay a chunk of change to YouTube and then you get pennies from it. Or if the offer comes up, you can take the occasional self-insert commercial. And as long as I'm not offended by the product, like, I don't ever want to say anything that's untrue. Now, if there's certain words they want me to say to like associate with something, I'm okay with that. And I don't have all the opportunities in the world, but the ones I do have, I at least try to make best use of. But anything I was uncomfortable with saying, I would not say. And for a review for an actual product, if you want to send me the product to review, fine. But I'm going to give my honest opinion, and they're not going to get to review my opinion. So that's the way that goes. I went on a bit about that. um, we got some new people jumping in and saying, "Hey, and what's up? What's up?" And hey, and what's up? What's up? And hey, and what's up? So I don't know what to talk about. You guys got to send me off on a rant again. Does anybody have anything they want to ask? Questions? RV Blood Butterfly Egg Sweetie, how are you? I'm good. Like, I'm mostly in good spirits. You know, yeah, mostly in good spirits. I'm feeling good about most things. I have a really terrible angle right here, but that's just the way it sits. I'm trying to see if I can do something better. See, I like this better, but I don't have a way to make it sit up. Ooh, let's see. That might hold it. I hate that angle. Don't fall. Don't fall. I like that angle better. That angle's so much better. D. Huffman says, can you show us your last project you finished? I've been working on like truck stuff. So, I mean, I might have done some stuff on the outside and it's dark, so I'm not going out there. But like, as far as like the quote unquote build, that's pretty much on. It's done enough that I would shoot a tour once I'm in a place that I feel is a pretty place to shoot the tour. You know, so like stuff I'm doing is stuff that doesn't really affect on the larger picture of things. I still haven't run my propane lines because I just haven't gotten to it. And the stove is hooked up, and that's the only thing I really care about being hooked up to propane right now. It's been so hot that my water's warm, so I'm not really in a rush to get the hot water heater hooked up, so that's still not hooked up. And it's not cold, so I haven't hooked up the heater. But if I don't do that in the next like month or whatever while it's still warm, that's going to not affect me shooting the tour. At this point, it's just location. And I feel like I will know when I'm at the location to shoot it. So that's where I am with that. Yeah. Did they ever find that Dimbo who took your copper? RV Butterfly. I think I don't understand that sentence. Earl Blackman says, did you learn how to change the tire on the truck? The front ones, yes. I'm still unsure about the dualies. I mean, I know the basic concept. I do have bottle jacks now, which I didn't have before. Thank you, Carolyn and Roman. So yeah, and the good thing about the dualies is actually, I was told this, is if I needed to in an emergency, I could take one of the dualies and put him on the front and just take a slow trip to a tire shop. Like if I was in that situation and there was no way to repair the tire on site, like if it was like totally blown out, I can move one of my tires to the front. And if one of the two goes out in the back, as long as I'm moving slow, I should be okay to get from point A to point B. Like if my point A is like where it happened and point B is getting to a tire shop. Yeah. Chat. Dylan Michael 1 asks, do I watch anime? Yes, I have animes I like. Um, some of them are like older animes. I don't know what the kids are watching now. But I like Death Note. I like Sailor Moon. I like Full Metal Alchemist, Full Alchemist, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's probably some other ones, but my brain is like escaping me. I started watching Fairy Tail, but it was just going on and on and on, and I was like, if I don't stop watching Fairy Tail, I won't live life. But I don't like to say I'm an anime fan because then anime fans will start throwing stuff at you. I like to say there's animes I like. So that's the answer to that question. Patricia Peter says, are you going to give us some exercise videos? I need motivation. I need to do exercise, to do exercise videos. And I had to clean out the storage. Now, the thing is, like, I got caught up in building and I, like, had to do what I had to do. So I was like, okay, while I'm in the middle of, like, building and all this other stuff, I need to give that my 100% focus because I can't get the things that I want to have unless I just go ahead and finish. So now what I need to do is get back on track. So I am off. I am failing at sort of getting myself back into a routine. And there's just been, a lot going on. And then getting out the storage unit quickly and then like life, I am off. I'm failing at my goals basically. And so now I just need a coordinated attack to get back on them. Oops, don't do that, screen. So basically, Patricia, I need motivation as well because I retired what I had to retire to finish the build, and now I need to get back on track, Bloop, bloop, bloop. Cart Gamer says, I don't know how it come to the South. Earl Blackman says, what did I learn about from the truck shop? I looked at my brakes. We took my front tires off. I looked at my brakes. I confirmed a couple of things were fuse problems. I got my AC fixed, but I didn't really learn anything just because he kind of came and did it. I didn't really get to learn what he was doing while he was doing it. I found out I know more than I think I know because I wanted it to install one of those backup thingies. And so, like, I was like, I'm going to ask a dumb question. Is this white light my reverse light? And so after I got that confirmed, I found out I could install that one thing myself. And it was a lot of, like, not trusting myself because once I knew what I was doing, it's like I took out my tools and it was like I did it myself. The biggest thing was I learned how to do my own oil changes and found out how simple that was. I watched him install the belt. He pointed out where the belt pattern was for the serpentine belt. So now that I know what I'm looking at when I look at that, we went over the air filter. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting stuff. RV Butterflies, the guy that stole the part off your vehicle while you were sleeping. I will never know who stole that catalytic converter. There were two guys definitely because one of them was driving and the other guy jumped in the passenger side. But nobody's investigating that. Nobody investigates cats. Like, no, I will never know. It's like, yeah. All right, you can make a report, and it's just honestly they know those reports are just for insurance companies. Nobody's actually making any effort to find out who's stealing them. If a situation happens that makes it easy for them to get these people, or like you have evidence that leads them directly to them, but otherwise ain't nobody investigating that stuff. So yeah. JK says, did you ever think about just leaving the faded leathering on the truck to make it look real stealthy? I mean, I don't think it makes much of a difference. Like right now, I'm just going to paint everything white. So like, because it has windows in it and now it has a ladder on the side, which I haven't talked about, but some people have seen it in pictures, and like, it's as confusing as it's going to be. I don't think painting it will make a difference one way or the other. I think it's just a confusing truck. Like, people aren't quite sure what it is when they're looking at it. And some people are like, they'll see like at certain angles you can see a roof vent, at other angles you can't. But like, some people see enough things to be like, oh, that's an RV, and the other one half will be like, I am not that concerned with stealth. There was literally nothing stealth about my Chevy Express van. You could clearly see the solar panels on top. You could clearly tell that thing was a camper if you looked at it more than 2 seconds. I think a lot of things are ignored because people don't care. Like, they don't care enough to look close. And, all you need is like a friend who doesn't give a crap about van life walking with you, who recognizes the signs, and you will realize how quickly they'll be like, oh, I never would have paid that any attention. So I think there's a lot of assumptions about what you have to do to be stealth. I think you get really, really far, one, by only staying places one night if you're in a city, unless you're at a campground or BLM land, or somebody has actually given you permission to stay somewhere a long time. You can get away with staying anywhere for one night most of the time. Again, most of the time, like, at least in my experience. As long as you're not stupid. Like, don't take a commercial truck into the suburbs and think somebody's not going to think that's weird. It's perfectly possible just because it looks out of place. But there's a light you get away with just by being polite and parking legally and not staying places too long. And I've literally changed very little from my different sizes of vehicles, my different levels of quote unquote stealth. Like I think stealth is 50% people not caring, not noticing, not caring. Whoop-de-doo, that truck is there. It's gone. I haven't even seen it for a week. Oh, it's back. Okay, well, that's not weird. It hasn't been there for a week. Traffic come and goes, and like, people park and leave, and so yeah, I think stealth is like 50% people not caring that you're there, and you can achieve a lot of that by being polite, by not leaving trash, by not being a disturbance. A vehicle's parked, nothing happens, it goes away. That's it. So yeah, I'm not that concerned about visual stealth. I got a giant box truck. I think the stealthiest thing I had was that minivan, even when it had a solar panel on it. Cora Lee's in the house. What's up? Good to see you, girl. Oh, looks like we got some super chats. Sorry, guys. I'm just noticing it. So, Che Baker, thank you so much. That sticker is so adorable. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Randy Mayfield, thank you for the $10 super chat. You inspire me, girl, is what you said. Thank you so much. All right. Like, I see colors. That's why I like this tablet here. It does a better job of showing me things. Joe Healy says, in my area, parking rides are a good place to stay overnight. I don't even know that I know where a parking ride is in the area that I'm in. Like, I know there's BART stations, but I was never sure about the parking rules at the BART station, so I just... By the way, for people not in California, BART is Bay Area Rapid Transit, which is basically the subway system. I just realized how, like, Bay Area I just became there. So when I first got to the Bay Area, people were talking about BART, and I'm like, who? And they're not like, who? The BART. And I'm like, who's BART? What do you mean? Why would I take a BART? And then I found out it was Bay Area Rapid Transit, which is the subway system, basically. But it was really funny when I first got to the Bay Area and people were like talking about BARTs. And I was like, who? Why are we talking about BART Simpson? Then I learned. New areas, very specific lingo. Robert Dragoff says, just wondering, do you know your towing capacity? I do not. Um, Xena's World? Is that how you say it? Xena's? Hopefully I'm saying you're right. You asked, does your cat ever run out the truck? No. Honestly, one day I was going out with my friend and I tried to, well, my friend came to see me. We met at the marina in Berkeley. And we were going to go for a walk. And so I was like, well, let me bring Mickey with me. Dude jumped back in the truck. Like, I'm staying here. Like dude jumped back in. I feel like he's gotten to be more of a homebody since he's gotten older. I don't know. Or maybe it's the bigger, like, living space. I don't know. But he jumped back in the truck. And I was taking him out of the truck. So no, not so far. Now I don't leave doors gapped open for him, but like I'll go to the store and open the door and be like putting groceries in the seat, and he just sits there and stares at me. Or he jumps out the way he jumps in more in the truck when I start loading stuff in. So yeah, I don't know. He's cool. I don't know. He likes his house, I guess, which is good because I wasn't sure how he felt about this box truck when we first moved in here. Catherine Arnold says the closest I'll get to stealth in my old high top Class B is to make it hard to tell if I'm inside. And I think that's the case with most vehicles, honestly. Like, you could always not be in there. Like that's what it is at the end of the day. Even if it is a camper, even if it's very, 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 very clearly a camper. If you are parked in a city and there are apartments or houses anywhere, and you are legally parked for a non-extended amount of time, they don't know if you're in there or not unless you're making much noise. Like, you could have parked and visited a friend because people legitimately do that. Like, you know, they drive, they're in their camper van or their RV or whatever. You know, they get to their friend's house and then they stay in the house. And then when they leave, then they leave in their vehicle that just happens to be a mobile home. So depending on the area, like, unless you confirm you're in there, they don't know you're in there. So the big thing is being legally parked. Like, I'm illegally parked if I go somewhere with a height restriction. You know, I'm illegally parked if, like, you know, I'm extending over the length of a space or taking up 2 spaces, which, depending on how they draw the lines, can happen by accident. I might go this much over. But otherwise, as long as you're legally parked, even if they can tell it's a camper, they don't know if you're in there or not. So unless you're throwing a party, they don't know if you're in there or not. And like during the day, it's not illegal to sit in your vehicle. Like you know, it's not illegal to be in your vehicle like during the day. What there might be is some sort of policy about quote unquote sleeping in your vehicle. But they have to know you're in there in order to even enact that. And they need a legal reason to like move your vehicle. Or there has to be some suspicious activity. Or something like that. And like I've gotten a knock. I've gotten a knock more than a few times over the past 3 years. Not consistently. It's never been that bad. And it always happens in parking lots. Even though I've recently stayed in a parking lot on a whim because I went to the supermarket and then I was like, I really don't feel like driving anymore. I wonder if I can get away with staying here. If I'd gotten a knock that night, I wouldn't have been surprised because I was experimenting in a lot to see if I could get away with it. And I've done it enough that I try to get a good read on the place. Here's the thing. Most 9-to-5 minimum wage employees don't want to deal with any more than they don't have to. You know, and I was in the supermarket and I was buying food. So I'm going to give this whole story. And so the guys at the register, I pushed my cart past the the cash register, and then I realized 2 items were still in the cart. And I was like, oh my God, I'm stealing. And so I grabbed the little jars out and I put them in there. And then the cash register guy started joking with me about stealing, and him and his buddy, and we were joking for a second. And I was like, I don't know. They seem kind of cool, and I feel like they just want to go home, because he was even like, honestly, if you weren't going to steal it, I wouldn't even care. He's like, I can't do nothing about it legally. And I'm like, that's a general attitude. So unless like a bunch of people have come and like sort of taken advantage of the place or something like that, I was like, I feel like I could just sleep here and leave in the morning instead of trying to do a bunch of like driving that night. And I was totally fine. I was never disturbed all night. But if I had been, I would have understood, and I would have politely went ahead and left. And that's been every situation where I've had a knock. Like, there was a knock. It was usually in a shopping center. Sometimes I pushed my luck a little bit. I had a polite conversation with the security guard most of the time, and I moved. And I found somewhere else to park. It was the end of the story. No drama. So yeah. Carolyn Freebird, what's up? Always good to see you in the chat. Says that whole stealth thing is a fantasy. I think most people realize when someone is sleeping in a vehicle, van life has been around for so long, I think people have already caught on. Or people don't care. I think like there's a level of literal people who do not care until you disturb their life. That's immense. They don't care. They're not paying attention. A solar panel on top of a vehicle literally means nothing to them. So there's the people that know, that think it's cool, and there's the people that don't care, that literally could not give a crap if you're sleeping in a vehicle. Like, they don't care, do you? Carolyn Freebird also says, have you ever done the under the Bay BART route? I don't know what that is, so that would be no. Corley says, BART, I would have been confused. Exactly, it's a name. I've never heard like I'm like, Bart, who's he? Who's Bart and why should I care about him? Where was I? Sorry, the chat jumped on me, so I'm trying to Princess Z says, do I ever stay in front of a casino since it's open 24 hours? Mostly no, because I'm never at casinos. So I don't go out of my way to go to them. Like, I've been in a casino maybe twice. Only once I can remember, but I think I might have been in one another time. I don't gamble. I don't drink. So, like, and before everybody's like, oh my goodness, like, you don't drink. I don't like alcohol. And I just don't like, and there was a point where I felt like I needed to drink it because that's what adults do, and you know, it's an adult thing and you should like it, and it's weird not to like it. But point being, like, I've just never, if I can park somewhere where a lot of other people aren't, that's always my preference. So I've just never done a casino because I wouldn't go there for fun, because I don't like casinos, and I'm never near one casually, so it's never been, hey, let me go here because it's near where I am and it's an opportunity. So yeah, that's why I haven't parked at a casino. I don't have, like, if I was near a casino and their parking lot was literally right along my path or in the area and I knew I could park there, yeah, I'd totally park there. But it's just not a place where I would want to be for an extended amount of time because I'm not really a casino person. And the parking lots tend to have a lot of people in them. And if I can avoid parking lots like that, I kind of prefer it. God darn it. Touchscreens. You end up touching the wrong things. That sounds horrible. That sounds really bad. Sometimes a sentence comes out your mouth and you're like, wow, that I don't know. Earl Blackman says, do you have a video on how you install your back wall? Nope, that's going to be an upcoming video. Che Baker is on the East Coast, so has to go to bed. Good night. I swear I'll try to do some earlier chats on another Wednesday. I always intend to try to hit around 6:30. And then when it doesn't work out, it's like I still want to go live because it's Wednesday and I'm trying to, like, that's the one, like, sort of promise I've kept up is to go live on Wednesdays, so I'm trying to stick with it. Xenia's World says, I'm thinking of getting a cat when I transition. I'll be honest, I think a cat is harder than a dog. A cat who's lived in a house may have a harder time transitioning. And the thing about Mickey is I got him when he was 6 weeks old as a kitten. And I don't think there's anything wrong. I was open to getting like an older cat, but he did have the advantage of it's normal for him. Like he lived in the Chevy van with me, and now he lives in the box truck with me. And so he's not used to like a house. He was only ever outside on a harness. So we started harness training like the day I got him. So it's not a big deal for him. I can put on the harness and he'll just hang out in it all day. Like he won't try to escape it. He won't try to get out of it. I did a lot of research on harness training cats and all of that. But I think the way we interact with dogs anyway, even in a house, makes the transition a little bit easier than a cat. Like if I'm going to be totally honest, like I think a dog is a little bit of the two, a little bit more easy. Like we're used to taking our dogs on leashes. We're used to walking them. They adapt quickly to those things. Dogs are a little bit more loyal, I hate to say. Even when cats know their name, they sometimes have selective paying attention to you when you say it. Like they know you're saying it, but they may not care. And you can have great recall with a cat. Like when I say my cat's name, he knows I'm talking to him. Like he will look at me. One time he did slip his harness. And I think he saw something interesting that was beyond his harness, and I was working on something, and I said his name several times. He ran to me, he meowed, and then he went back to climb the tree he was in. So, and luckily it was a rather short tree. It wasn't like a really tall one. We were at the marina, and like my biggest fear was like he was gonna get hit. like that was my biggest fear. But he came. He was like, "I'm here. What you calling me for?" And then he ran back to his tree. But even still, I've seen at least 2 stories of van dwellers where there were cat tragedies, and it was just related to cats are cats at the end of the day. So yeah. I don't know. That was a rant. There was a lot of lovely van cats, so I'm not anti-van cat. But if I'm going to be honest, transitioning a cat from a house to a mobile home can be more difficult, especially depending on your size of vehicle. And I think you should prepare yourself for that. And a lot of how the cat interacted in a house might transfer to how they interact in a van. Like there's some people who can't keep their cats in a harness. They're like, you ain't putting this thing on me. Like, are you kidding? It's a little harder, but not impossible, because plenty of people have done it to start harness training later with cats. So yeah, that's a lot. Jody McFarland says, Dawn, have you ever heard of a diffuser that calms cats with pheromones? Moving to Oregon with my 2 cats that can't seem to adjust to the van. I have not heard of that. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Whoop, the chat jumped on me, so I need to scroll. Adventures with Lloyd the dog. I love the unicorn. Thank you for the $1.49 super chat. Thank you, Sadie, for the $5 super chat, and reminding people to hit the like button. I think I might have missed some stuff, so I'm scrolling. Rescue Dog Treat says it should never be illegal to be in your vehicle. Never. Exactly. And even if it's quote unquote, you're not supposed to sleep, in your vehicle, they have to prove you were sleeping in it. Like, for all you were just sitting up inside, hanging out, you know? Sylvia says, when are you giving us a tour of your tiny home? When I have a location where I want to shoot it. It's a location thing at this point. I'm happy with where it is. I don't have everything done, but I'm happy with where it is to tour it. But I'm not just going to throw it together. So now at this point, it's a location thing. Joe Healy says, I'm so glad I park on private property. No worries at all about that middle of the night knock. Yeah, I mean, like if you have that, but you can't always, if you want to travel, you're just not going to always be on private property. You're gonna have to stop places and sleep. Especially me, because I don't like long unending drives. Like I have to break up the drives with stops and sleep. I spent 3 days on a 6-hour drive because I want time to stop and sleep. I don't even remember how long it took me when I had the job in Oregon. I don't remember how long it took me to get from the Bay Area to Oregon, but I took my time on purpose. So I don't. The knock has happened so few times. I just go to sleep, to be honest. Like it's happened enough. And honestly, every time it happened was a parking lot. And it's never been a big deal. And it happens so infrequently. I don't panic about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I'll deal with it like I always do. Like one time it happened in a Walmart, shockingly, and I literally just laid down. So it wasn't like I got woken up from sleep. So yeah, it just doesn't bother me. Like it doesn't happen enough for it to bother me. Like there's literal like months and months and months between it happening. Rescue Dog Treat says in a box truck loft bed, you might not hear the knock. That is entirely true. And at that point, they'll just assume the vehicle's empty. And what I might get is a warning ticket. I've gotten one of those. Where it was like your license has been recorded. You don't be parked here again. It wasn't even don't sleep here again. It was like, it was basically a warning, and it was like, okay, I got that, so let's not do that again. But I slept all night without a problem. Janice Williams asks, what time did I start? At this point, at 8:59, I've been on about 43 minutes. I was trying to get on around 8 o'clock, so it was a little bit after that. Coralie says the pressure to drink is real. I don't get why so many people think a person is weird if they don't drink alcohol. They either think you're weird or they think you're in recovery. People cannot wrap their head around, I just honestly don't like alcohol. And I haven't had a positive experience with it because it's associated with like, a good time. And when you've had the opposite, like you don't like the taste and you're also not getting any sort of positive buzz out of it, like people can't comprehend that. They understand people in recovery because people in recovery liked alcohol and they sort of respect that. But yeah, it's weird when and then they try to convince you you just haven't had the right one yet. And it's like, I've noticed the things I like taste like juice. like it's because they taste less like alcohol and taste more like juice, which only confirms I like juice and don't like alcohol. So therefore there is no point in the alcohol. Cute old lady says just got here but wanted to say hi. You are so attractive. Oh, thank you. Love your smile. Most importantly, where's Mickey? Mickey's in the bed. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to bed. So he's in his tunnel. Janice, you did not miss Mickey. Mickey is being antisocial. Or maybe not. I just see his head. Mickey. You might have heard me saying his name. Or maybe you're just enjoying the fan right now. He might just be enjoying the fan right now. I don't know if you can see him because it's pretty dark up there. There's his head. The fan is right there. Mickey is right there. Fan. Mickey. Mickey. Fan. Now let's see if I can set this back up so it doesn't fall. That's why I don't really like moving it. Okay. Liz Carter says, a car dweller over by my daughter's home was finally asked to move after setting up tarps. There you go. Attached to a homeowner's block walls, showering on the sidewalk. I saw his naked butt 2 times. Not stealth. It's not even not stealth. That's just plain disrespectful, you know? And that's the kind of stuff that unfortunately trickles down and affects the people that are being respectful. And that's kind of the sad part about it, because that's just disrespectful. Like, you don't attach tarps to somebody else's property and shower outside. Like, you're not at a camp. You want to do that at a campground? Even at a campground, if other people are around, that would be kind of rude. Like, cover yourself up, dude. Unless you're at a nudist, if you want to show people your naked butt, like, go to a nudist colony. Again, I don't think it's a matter of stealth. It's just disrespectful. And when people are like, oh, they're car dwellers or van dwellers or whatever being disrespectful, that's when they start paying attention. That's when they start caring about the signs. And that's when they start trying to get ahead of a problem and end up calling the cops on somebody who's just innocent and not being disrespectful. But now they've been exposed to they're like, okay, now I associate this negative with a lifestyle I don't understand, and I'm going to assume everybody in this lifestyle would eventually do this as well. Jenna Cia says, how old was Mickey when you started the leash training? The day after I got him. I went right to the pet store and got a harness. And I kept him in the harness a lot. I didn't put the leash on him, but part of harness training is them being in the harness and being comfortable with the harness way before you start putting a leash on them. If you grab a cat that's not to a leash and throw a harness and a leash on them, there is a 99.9% chance they will either slip the harness in protest or just generally just reject the harness and roll over on the ground and not want to walk. So a lot of like harness training was just putting him in a harness when he was very, very young. So it wasn't a weird thing. Like, it was just something he wore. So yeah, like right away. Actually considering getting a cat. There was a point where and I talked about this in my last live stream, because I was also considering getting a dog. But when I was considering getting a cat, I started researching then. Like, I started watching videos on YouTube about cat training. I started watching videos on leash training. I tried to get as much information I could about it, about recall, about working with cats. Like, yeah, that's that started like on his second day that I had him. He was in a harness. He ran around in the harness during the day. I took it off him at night because his collars break away, but his harness is not. And so I didn't want him to get caught on anything and not be able to escape or anything like that. So I would take it off at night, but like he would just wear it during the day when I could see him and observe him, and he'd just run around in it. And so it was never weird to wear a harness. And so the leash is just something you add as a layer on top of that. Demaya J says some hospitals have open outside parking lot. You can park in overnight. You pay when you leave. I stayed in the hospital. I don't know if it was a hospital or like one of those university training hospitals, but I stayed in a lot. Didn't cost me anything one night, but it was because I was near it. I never looked specifically for anything. I go, I'm ready to go to bed. What is near me where I can legally park? So it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to go to any particular thing. Like I've never, I think it's Cabela's. I've never parked at a Cabela's. Not because I wouldn't, just because it's never been along my path. And if it's not along my path, I'm not going to intentionally seek it out. Now, if I was like, going somewhere and I was ready to rest and I was like, oh, a Cabela's, then I might stay at a Cabela's. But it's not something I'm going to like intentionally seek out. And when I have stayed in parking lots, it's been a lot of, I'm already here. Do I think I can get away with just sleeping here for the night? And almost always, I would say 98% of the time, I've talked about getting a knock. I would say 98% of the time I did because I left in the morning. So yeah. Sadie, thank you for reminding people to hit the like button. Bert says, so wild seeing you sitting there with a sink and towel behind you, cabinets and all. I'm so proud of all you've done. You're proud of cabinets by Target? Yeah, those are cabinets by Target but I am more happy with them than I thought I would be. There was a point where I thought I might replace them, but I kind of like them now. So yeah, thank you so much, Bert. That was a sweet comment. Theresa, good night. 11:50. Yeah, it's pretty late for you. I swear I'll try to do an earlier live in the future. Liz Carter, I'm reading your follow-up on that rude car dweller. Parking enforcement was here all the time. Keep in mind, I'm one street behind a major shopping center. One ruined it. Yeah, Liz, that sucks. Like when especially obviously somebody like you would be very like okay with somebody who was like living in their car for whatever reason, but it's when you like do the rude things or like do things that like annoy people or are violations of property. Mickey, please don't knock over the computer. He's up now. Everybody was looking for you. You're like all up in the camera, dude. Are you trying to get my hair tie? It's right here. He loves this. See, he's trying to get it now. If I go anywhere with the hair tie, he's going to follow it because he loves the hair tie. Mickey was like, you keep saying my name. I'm coming down here. Sis mom. Ow, Mickey. That hurts. I'm trying to read the chat, dude. Right there. Oh my gosh. Whoa, crap. So, Ken Van Lady, haven't watched your channel, but it's been recommended, so I need to make some time. Oh my goodness. Extravagant Minimalist says, Jelena said you helped her with tracking collars for her cats. Yeah, she texted me. And yeah, I just gave her some feedback. Mickey has worn a little tracker on his collar since he was little, and let me see if I can get him. Mickey, come here. Come get him. Oh no! I just made a mess. Towel. That's what I get. Well, now I have to wash that towel. like I'm crazy. He's like, you are crazy, human. All right, so he's annoyed with me. That's okay. He's had this is basically one of the tile stickers. And I already used tile for like my wallet. He's like, I was doing things and then you disturbed me. I already used tile for like my wallet and my keys and stuff like that. It's basically like a little Bluetooth tracker. You can open the app and I can basically make his collar make a noise if he's within Bluetooth range. And if he's not, I signed up for a paid plan so that basically with the paid plan, if his tile tracker is picked up by another tile user, I could still get the notification of where that notification went off. Now it's not live tracking, so it won't track him actually moving. But basically, I can make the collar make a noise if he's within Bluetooth range. Now he does wear a breakaway collar because that's a safety thing. So obviously, it could break away from his neck, and that's just. I mean, unfortunately, that's to compromise the safety. I'd rather his collar break away than him choke. And honestly, I think at most he would be nearby in a tree. I don't know, maybe at some point in his life he'll get really, really bold. But literally the 2 times he slipped a harness outside, he was nearby, and he didn't even slip the harness. What happened is the leash came loose. I had him like tied while I was doing something, and the leash came loose. And he was like, "Okay, well, I guess I can explore a little further." But he still didn't go that far. Like he was not far both times. But when I first got him as a kitten, like I didn't know what his personality was going to be. So yeah. Cheryl, thank you. You're sitting after midnight. Man, thank you for hanging out till after midnight. That's crazy. Stop jumping, chat. Xenia's World said, we have car dwellers here who just toss their trash in the street of our residential. Well, that sucks. That's just rude. Carolyn says, see, everything in man life needs to be dual purpose hair tie and cat toy. I'm seeing some comments about coffee, and I think Coralie and Xenia's World are connecting on drowning coffee in cream. When I did drink coffee, I was the exact same way. My coffee was like 3 parts milk. And that's why I started drinking tea. Because when I drink tea, I don't drown it in creamer. Whereas with coffee, half the time I was like doing everything to like, yeah, get rid of the coffee taste. I will drink like a mocha occasionally, and I might have a vanilla latte occasionally, but even those are espresso and a bunch of milk on top of it when you really think about it. So yeah, I relate to you guys. Stacy White says, congratulations on your build and taking a break from the Bay. I lived in Emeryville for a bit, and a break is a good thing. Yes, it is. Also, like, I like seeing new things. Carolyn Freebird says, it's tile, some sort of GPS tracker. What's the actual name? So I can, yeah, it's, there's different kinds of tiles. Do I have my keys? I do. I better have my keys. So this is your standard tile, and it's like a little white tile. It says tile on it. And then the one on Mickey's collar is this little tiny one. And the white thing is not something you can buy from Tile. I found it on like Etsy because I didn't want, when Mickey was a kitten, it doesn't matter now because he's huge. But when he was a kitten, this felt too big to put on him. And that's why I used the sticker because it was smaller. Let me see. Do I have my wallet? And I keep saying, do I have things that I should have? This is also a tile tracker. This one is just one I stick in my wallet. I'm not going to show you guys my wallet. What am I doing? I stick this one in my wallet. And so that puts a tile tracker on my wallet. So you can get flat ones. You can get, this kind. And then you can get the little sticker ones that I got for Mickey's collar. But then I had to go buy something so that I could attach it to his collar. Because, again, he was a kitten and I didn't want to put something really, really big around his neck. And let me see if I can find my phone. I don't know how well I can show you. It might glow too much. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to show it to you. But basically, there's an app. And the cool thing about the app is not only can I open the app and then just hit whatever tile I want to track, and it is called Tile, Tile. I can also, if I can't find my phone, instead of not being able to find the tile, I can pick up the tile tracker. I can double click on this button and it'll find my phone. So any tile that I own, I can find my phone, and then from my phone, I can find any other tile. So I really, it is Bluetooth dependent. So like if your wallet has a tile and you like left your tile at the mall, if you don't have a paid account, you wouldn't be able to track it down. Now, if you have a paid account, it's just like I was explaining with Mickey's tile, that if anybody else is also using tile, it would let you know where that signal for that lost tile was found. So yeah, you can put them on anything you want to. I have them on my main keys, my backup keys. I have one in my wallet. That little flat one that I have in my wallet, I haven't done it, but I want to get another one and put it on my laptop because I read about somebody else doing that. They basically stuck it to the bottom of their laptop. So if their laptop ever got stolen, there was a way to track it. So I love the tiles. They're not perfect, but they really do help if you're like prone to losing things. I forget what else I have a tile on. Miss K, I'm going to shoot a tour of my truck when I get in the right location. At this point, it's a matter of location. Kimberly Adams says, does insulation help to dampen the noise coming from the inside of the vehicle? I don't know because I've never had somebody outside the house. I mean, I'm sure people can hear me now because literally there's an open window. But as far as like when the window's closed and I'm just in here like maybe streaming Netflix or something, I don't know. I mean, like, I would assume like you can't really hear it. The insulation isn't a problem so much as I have 3 windows. So if they're open, even if I have the curtain down, like I'm sure there's, some noise escaping when I'm just using sort of the tone of conversational tone. But like I'm in here by myself. So, I do talk to myself sometimes, but not at a pronounced volume. And I talk to the cat. So, and I'm like, the volume on my phone isn't that loud. And usually I watch stuff on my phone because to watch stuff from my computer, I would have to hotspot. And why waste the hotspot when I can just watch it on my phone? No! Stop it. Good Lord, the chat keeps jumping on me. That didn't help. Robert asks about the back wall. Is that a door? It's kind of like a curtain thing that has a screen on it, so that when I open the back door, I still have a view out the door, but there's a screen, so bugs can't get in. And yes, it is cat security as well. Even though he tends to just kind of go up to the door and look and be like, "Oh, that's interesting," and then he turns around. But I'm sure at some point, if it was just gapping open, he might just like go out there out of curiosity. But I still try to stick with like he's outside supervised, not like just free running around. And he's never tested me on that. I can't tell if my hair looks terrible or not. I keep seeing my own hair and being like, it looks terrible, Dawn. It looks terrible. Extravagant minimal said I went through hella collars with my cat. I feel like I'm going back because I'm seeing messages I already talked about. Whoop, whoop, don't you dare do it. The scroll is sometimes like boom. Carolyn Freebird says that is really cool, perfect for my dogs. Right on. Thank you very much for the info. You're welcome. Oh yeah, it's perfect for like a dog, um, or cat or any sort of pet. And for most dogs, I mean, I know there are tiny dogs out there. Like having this on their collar isn't a lot. They do actually have like pet GPS trackers, but most of them are like so huge. Like I'm like these are huge. Like even the cat ones are huge, which was another reason I decided to just use the tile because I was already using them. I just never signed up for a paid account because like it was mostly for me being stupid and misplacing stuff, like my keys. I probably tracked down my keys at least 5 times a day because I laid them somewhere and forgot where they were. And I'm like, hit the button and it's like, doo-doo-doo-doo. Actually, let me see if I can get it to play the tune. So I'm gonna open the Tile app. What's funny is I think Mickey knows what that sound was because I couldn't find him and he was in the truck, but he had like tucked himself behind something. And I played the tune, and he looked at me like I'm right here. Leave me alone. All right, let's see. Where's the? So here we go. Can you guys hear that? And then you just track down the sound. And I lose my keys all the time. That's why I got the tile at first. I kept losing my keys. um Katie NAH says, "Can you put a tile on your van?" There is a tile on my van. It's just hanging on a little chain on the front. Because I figure like most people won't even know what it is. So like if for some reason the truck got stolen, and I also had it on my van, and I actually had it on my minivan. That's how long I've been using tiles. I always hang one on the front, and I mark it as van in my app. So yeah, if it disappeared for some reason, like it wouldn't help me if I couldn't find where I parked in a parking lot. It would just because I wouldn't be able to hear the tune. But if for some reason it literally the truck got stolen, because I have a paid account, if it pinged anybody else's tile app, it would tell me where that ping came from. Gene Dumford says insulation helps. I've always had to yell to talk to the officer or ranger outside. I mean, yeah, there's times I've had to go outside. Like I've never had somebody stand outside while I was talking. But there were times I was making noise in here. And people told me like, they didn't hear anything else. I don't know how to explain it, but I have enough reason to believe like, I'm sure if I was on a completely quiet street, which I almost never am, and like, I was talking at this particular level now, like they would know there was a voice coming from in here. But I don't think it's just not that big of a deal. I don't think. Like it would take I would have to be throwing a party in here and blasting music for people to like notice it outside. So yeah, I remember at one point I was really worried about getting the sound deadening, but I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. Because like it's not the walls, it's the windows, and I wouldn't have been able to sound barrier the windows. And it's also, I don't think it's worth it when the windows are closed. I think like again, unless I'm yelling and throwing a party, which I wouldn't do, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Shannon says they're going to bed. It's 12:28 a.m. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap up soon. Dorothy says, is there a radius limit for the tile trackers? It depends on the Bluetooth on your phone. Because basically the phone is just, it's Bluetooth range. Whatever the Bluetooth range is between your phone and the tile is the limit. Honestly, that's going to vary by device and situation, because like there's walls, there's buildings. Like if the tile is outside and you're inside, the Bluetooth the Bluetooth signal may not be able to get through the wall. So in that case, it doesn't really matter what the Bluetooth range is, because it's being interrupted by the wall. And basically there's little circles that tell you how far away or close the tracker is. Even that could be lying to you if it's separated by a barrier, because like, you know, it could sense it but think it's far away because there's a barrier. Whereas if you go outside, it would increase because it's actually really close to you. It's just that it couldn't tell that through the wall. So it's limited by the fact that it's Bluetooth, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Catherine Arnold says, with the other person's tile app, tell them you access the ping. I don't think so. Because the one time I tried it, it was like, do you want to thank blah, blah, blah. But as far as like them instantly knowing, I don't think so. I think it's more like it's just Bluetooth. So it's like every tile has its own little code. So on a paid account, it just means instead of only your phone picking up that code, any tile app anywhere in the world can pick up the code. But it's just telling you on your device that the code was picked up at, 235 Mall Street or something like that. And so you know that at some point it was at 235 Mall Street. Now, if it's your wallet, you might be like, oh, I was shopping at the BJ's there, so it's probably at the BJ's or something like that. If it's your animal, it's a little bit more complicated because obviously the animal can keep moving. So at some point, it might have been at 235 Mall Street, but it could have moved on since then. But it's better than nothing. That's how I feel about it. There are devices that do more live tracking, but I just haven't considered them worth it since I was already using Tile, so I just expanded its purpose. Oh no, external influences says all our power went out, tried to come on through the laptop, but we lost internet and power. Oh man, that sucks. I'm sorry. I don't know if you'll see this later on the replay. I hope it works out. That sucks. Cute old lady says, every time I watch you, I learn something new. Tonight it's all about tiles. I know. I never expected to talk about tiles. My kids will probably give it to me for Christmas so I can find my keys. Cheryl says, do you have a mailing address since you left the Bay? My only mailing address is still the same one. I will get my paper mail sent to me at intervals. So yeah, like as far as like paper mail, I'm just getting it sent to me at intervals. I mean, I have to pay them to forward it to me, but that's how it is right now. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and get some sleep, some sleepity sleep. Thank you for everybody for jumping on. I hope you enjoyed Mickey playing with the hair tie. For anybody who didn't believe me, you saw how much he loved the hair tie. He was like, hair tie, where's it going? I want it. It's up. It's down. I want it. Where'd it go? That's his thing. Hair ties and feather on a stick. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. This one was seriously windy. Windy. I saw the word windy, seriously random. It's so random that I saw the word windy and corrected what I was saying. Anyway, good night, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Rich, thank you for the $10 super chat.